Hello there, people from all over the world. I hope you are doing well. This is our second video, and in our second video we are going to check 4 things. We are going to talk about nationalities and countries. We are going to talk about verbo ser and verbo estar, and we are going to compare them. And also we are going to check how do they work with the preposition de and with the preposition en. So let's get started. Let's start with the countries. We are going to work with 6 specific countries. We are going to work with México, Italia, China, Francia, Japón y Alemania. Here we have those 6 countries. We are going to use them with verbo ser. How? First of all, let's remember how do we conjugate verbo ser. We have here the first 3 conjugations that we were working on the last video. So, we're going to use yo soy, tú eres, él o ella es. In theory, we use verbo ser to talk about 2 main things. To talk about permanent things and to talk about our origin. So, here we have our 3 first conjugations. We're gonna say yo soy de. Then, tú eres de. And then, él es de o ella es de. In my case, for example, yo soy de México. And we have also the negative form. Yo no soy de Italia. Now we have the second conjugation. Tú eres de. And we can say about you, tú eres de China. Also the negative form, tú no eres de Japón. Now let's use the third form, the third person. We're gonna say, ella es de Alemania. Ella no es de Francia. That is the negative form. Those were the 3 first personal pronouns. We use them to talk about singular things, about yo, about tú, and about él or about ella. But what about the other ones? We have the plural ones. These ones are nosotros, ustedes, y ellos, or the feminine one, ellas. Here we have the conjugations with verbo ser, which is nosotros somos, ustedes son, ellos son o ellas son. In Mexico and in some other countries, ustedes and ellos and ellas are going to share the same conjugation. And we can also use them with preposición de. So, this is the form. Nosotros somos de México. O nosotros no somos de Italia. Then we have the pronoun ustedes. Ustedes son de Francia. Ustedes no son de Alemania. That's with ustedes. Now let's use ellos and ellas. We have here ellos son de China. Ellos no son de Japón. These ones are only some countries. We have more. If you want to check how to pronounce them and how to write them in Spanish, check the description. There is a link to the other video where you can check some other countries and how to pronounce them. Also, you can find there the nationalities. Let's continue with the next verb. The next verb that we are going to check is verbo estar. In theory, we say that with verbo estar, we can talk about temporary things and about location. So, we are going to use verbo estar with preposition en to talk about locations. But first, let's check the conjugations of verbo estar. First of all, let's review the people. We have yo, tú, él o ella, nosotros, ustedes, ellos y ellas. Now, let's conjugate verbo estar. We're gonna say yo estoy. Tú estás. Él está o ella está. Nosotros estamos. Ustedes están. Y ellos o ellas están. And after this, we can add the preposition en. So, we can say yo estoy en, tú estás en, etc. Now let's check some examples. Remember that we also have the negation. So we are going to use also the word no. We are going to use the word no before the verb. Like in this case, we have one example. Yo estoy en México. Yo no estoy en Italia. And remember that in a sentence, we do not need always to use the pronoun. So we can say, yo estoy en México. No estoy en Italia. And this is because in the conjugation, the person is implied. Yo. Now let's check some more examples. Yo estoy en México. No estoy en Italia. Tú estás en China. No estás en Japón. Ella está en Alemania. No está en Francia. Nosotros estamos en Italia. No estamos en México. Ustedes están en Francia. No están en Alemania. Ellas están en Japón. No están en China. So, let's review a bit about these two verbs. We have verbo ser. We have verbo estar. With verbo ser, we are going to talk about permanent things and about our origin. With verbo estar, we are going to talk about temporary things and locations. So, as I said before, we are going to talk about permanent things with verbo ser. I think our nationality is kind of permanent. So we are going to revise nationalities with verbo ser. But this time we are not going to check it with the preposition, because nationalities are adjectives. And if we are going to describe, we are going to use verbo ser and the description, the adjectives. Let's talk a bit about adjectives. Adjectives are words that we are going to use to describe. And in Spanish, they have gender and they have number. What do I mean? With number, I mean they could be singular or they could be plural. And with gender, they could be masculine or they could be feminine. When do we need to make them masculine, singular, feminine or plural? They are going to depend on the object that they are describing. Like in this case, we have our country, Mexico. The adjective is mexicano. That's the masculine form. Then we have mexicana. That's the feminine form. We have mexicanos, which is masculine and plural, and we have mexicanas, which is feminine and plural. So, this specific adjective, this specific nationality, is ending on a vowel, specifically in letter O. So, we can say that if our adjective is ending in a letter O, we can change it to feminine using an A. Let's check some other similar nationalities. We have China and we have Italia. So, the adjective, the nationality for China, is chino, masculino, China, femenino, chinos, masculino plural, chinas, femenino plural. Also, we have this other country, Italia. So, the adjective for Italia is italiano, masculino, italiana, femenino, italianos, masculino plural, italianas, femenino plural. Now, let's check some other nationalities. You remember, we used these other three countries, Alemania, Francia, Japan. The adjectives that we're going to use to talk about people from those countries are going to be a bit different from the last ones. Let's start with Alemania. This is the nationality, Aleman. This is also masculine. The feminine is going to be alemana. This is the masculine plural, alemanes. And this is the feminine plural, alemanas. So, let's say this. If our adjective is ending on a consonant, like in this case, we can make it feminine with a letter A. And we can also make it plural and masculine with letter ES. And also we can make it feminine plural with letter AS. Let's see some other examples with consonants. We have Japón. The nationality is Japonese. This is the masculine form. Then the feminine, yes, you guessed, is japonesa. Now the masculine plural is japoneses. The feminine plural is japonesas. Now let's go with next country, Francia. The nationality for Francia is francés. Feminine is francesa. The masculine plural is franceses, and the feminine plural is francesas. Now we know some nationalities. How we can use them with verbo ser. Remember, in this case, we don't need preposition de with verbo ser. Por ejemplo, with my specific info. Yo soy mexicano. Yo no soy italiano. That's the negative form. Now, tú eres italiano. No eres francés. Ella es japonesa. No es china. Nosotros somos mexicanos. No somos italianos. Now, with ustedes. Ustedes son alemanas. No son francesas. And finally, ellos and ellas. We say, ellas son italianas. No son mexicanas. These ones were only some nationalities, but now you know more or less how to talk about the masculine, the feminine, the plural masculine, and the feminine plural. So remember, if you want to know more nationalities, go to the description below and you will find a link to the other video where you can find some other nationalities. And now, again, it's your turn to practice. Go to the description to see the link, and in that link you will find a small exercise to practice what we have done. Países, nacionalidades, verbo ser, verbo estar, preposición de, and preposición en. So tell me, do you have any doubts? Do you have any problem? Do you have a complaint? If you have something to say, use the commentary box below. And also, if you like the video, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Adios.